She might have some trust issues that might need to be unpacked in a therapy session. Am I the a-hole for yelling at my girlfriend and kids for constantly waking me up? This one I might have to think on a little bit. Everybody, what's up, everybody? Now, it's been a little minute since my last long video. That was back in January when I was talking about Christmas, and it's now March 8th. So, yeah. But, thank you guys so much for showing love on the short form. I've been really grinding on that. If you want to see more of the short form content, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. But we're not here to talk about that. If you don't know what Am I the A-hole is, it's basically where people write confessions on Reddit saying, I did this and this person did this. Am I the good guy or am I the bad guy? And I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about it. They're very funny, and I really wanted to do something like that on my own. So I downloaded the app and I have some confessions to read. So we're going to determine whether they're the good guy or the bad guy. I only have 3 to start off since this is our first video. So let's get into the first confession. Make sure I put on my spectacles because this is going to be
you'll do.
So our first confession is, am I the a-hole for buying my sister's boyfriend lunch? I don't know. That's why we're here to figure it out. Hello all. Female 26 here. While I was on the way home from the gym, I received a call from my sister's, female 18, boyfriend, male 19. Not abnormal, as he's usually over at our house. He was asking me if our alarm was on because he got to our house before.
For the most
He got to our house before my sister and I. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little nervous. It's my first time doing something like this. Please give me grace, right? He was asking me if our alarm was on because he got to our house before my sister and wanted to double check if he could go in since she wasn't picking up the phone. I told him no, and I happened to be stopping at McDonald's on my way home and asked if he wanted anything. He told me chicken nuggets, so I picked those up for him as well as for my sister. Today, my sister texted me saying, if you want my boyfriend, just say that. I 100% thought this was a joke, so I replied with not my type shrugging emoji. But I very quickly learned it wasn't. Then she replied with a paragraph telling me how buying him dinner was essentially coming on to him. So now I know she's not joking. And at first I tried playing nice and just tried reassuring her I have zero attraction to her boyfriend. But that was answered with more rude comments from her. Now the last message I sent to her was, sister's name, you really need to grow up. I simply bought you both McDonald's on my way home. A simple thank you would suffice. Am I the a-hole here, or is this completely normal? I'm not gonna lie. Whoever you are, you're probably not even watching this video, but your sister, she might have some trust issues that might need to be unpacked in a therapy session. I don't know if the boyfriend was doing something grimy before that made her, I don't know if y'all had I don't know, but this seems normal because your boyfriend is I guess close and a part of the family and all that, so he's, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. No, that's wrong! Because, y'all all seem very close and tight-knit. And keep in mind, she also bought the boyfriend and the sister something to eat. So, would buying her, what? I have to take the spectacles off, and I just put them on because this makes no sense to me. What? She tripping. I'm sorry, kid. Whoever you are, your sister is tripping. And also, the dude is 19. You're 26. That's weird. Okay, so the next one we have is, am I the a-hole for yelling at my girlfriend and kids for constantly waking me up? It was voted everyone sucks, so I'm going to see if everyone truly does suck. Okay, so I am the sole provider in our house. I work 60 plus hours a week, 12 hours a night, 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. I get home from work around 10:30 every morning and hang out with my girl and kids for a couple hours, then lay down around 12:20 to 1 p.m. Normally this sleep lasts around 2 to 3 hours before I'm up again because the oldest gets home from school. I'm up until then till around 7 p.m. Then I lay back down because I get up at 9 p.m. to start getting ready for work. There's never a guarantee that I'm actually getting any sleep. Kids are noisy, and I don't fault them for that. The youngest that are home all day are 4 and 1. Usually I can sleep through them playing, but what I can't sleep through is my girlfriend constantly screaming at the top of her lungs at them every time they inconvenience her and make her get off the couch where she plops herself most of the day. Normally I don't say anything and try in vain to fall back to sleep. So most days I'm usually only getting 2 to 4 hours of actual sleep before I'm back at work for another 12 hours. Yesterday I couldn't take it anymore and I went out there and screamed at her to shut up. Ooh. My thought on this it says my thought. And you definitely gotta get some sleep, because it's my thoughts. Proper grammar. My thoughts on this are, if you don't have enough respect for me and the fact that I bust my butt 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week to provide for you and our family, to try and limit your screaming and nonsense all day, then I'm not going to respect you or the fact that I had to get out of bed to come do this. She proceeded to start sobbing and sent the kids to their room and to be quiet because I'll come out and scream at them again. She tried to make it seem like she was the victim, and it bugged me because normally I'm very mild-mannered and I understand that kids aren't going to be completely silent all day, but there's only so much sleep deprivation I can't take before. See, again with the sleep deprivation, right? There's only so much sleep deprivation I can take before I finally hit my limit. So my question is, am I the a-hole for finally losing it and yelling at her? I'm not gonna lie. Let me put this down. I think everyone truly does suck in the situation. Now, I understand that you bust your butt 60 hours plus a week, 12 hours every day. I understand that. But you didn't need to come out and yell at her. There's definitely a better way to do that. Now listen, obviously, I'm 17, I don't have any kids. But I do know that kids can be like loud and rambunctious and be running all around the place. So I do get that, but again, you didn't need to come out kicking, screaming, and yelling, causing a fuss, being like, rah, 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 I need my sleep. All this, it's like, it's probably also hard for her to take care of all these kids because they're 4 and 1 running around, chaos is happening. Stay at home mom isn't like an easy job, especially when she's dealing with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. So like, she should have grace and compassion and tell these kids, listen, I'm gonna need y'all to make sure y'all are quiet so you can get some sleep. But you also need to have some grace for her because you don't know really what she got going on. Because again, she's taking care of these kids. 4 and 1. Wow, I did 4 and 2. 4 and 1. That's not an easy task. So I am gonna have to say everybody sucks in this situation. This next one says, am I the a-hole for laughing at my friend who asked me gym advice? This is a sticky situation. I'm 20 years... I, 20-year-old male... Oh my gosh, the way this is worded, just give me a second. I'm 20 years old. I'm 20-year-old male. You know what? I'm a 20-year-old male and I've been gymming for a solid few years. I'm not a bodybuilder or expert by any means, but I have a noticeably fit physique, so people often ask me for gym advice. One of my friends from one of my classes asked me to help her devise a routine and ask me questions about working out. One thing she kept coming back to was that she was worried about getting too buff. This is what I always hear what people say, and it's a silly concern because muscle gain is a very slow process, and 99.9% of people that these people refer to when they say too buff are people like Sebum, who take a whole lot of steroids on top of having amazing genetics and working out insanely hard. So the average person isn't going to get anywhere near too buff. I told her this, but she kept insisting that she might get too big and pulled out a video of a female bodybuilder who was obviously on steroids and said, what if I look like her? This caused me to laugh because it was just ridiculous to look at somebody who needed to take copious amounts of steroids to get physique and think you'll accidentally reach that. She got angry at me for laughing and said that I'm an a-hole for being patronizing. I told her that I'm not being patronizing, I'm just stating a fact, and there's no way she gets too muscular, especially as a woman. She said I shouldn't laugh at her, but I think she was being ridiculous, and I told her politely her worries wouldn't come true. Am I the a-hole? This one I might have to think on a little bit. Now, do I think you should have laughed at her? Nah, because that was a little mean, right? That was a little mean. I think laughing at that would have been like, it kind of can be considered as patronizing, I guess. But I feel like for telling her the truth, you're not like the bad guy or the a-hole in this situation, because it's like you're literally telling her, listen, you're not gonna get to this size because these people are like, these people do this for sport. They take steroids, they do things to get that big. If you're just a gym goer, you're not gonna get to that level, especially if you don't want to. So for laughing, I'm gonna say yes. You probably should have maybe like held that in, controlled that a little bit, but for telling her the truth, I'm gonna say no. But at the same time, there's always a way to approach situations. So maybe next time if somebody asks you that and they show you something that, you know, maybe hold in the laugh and be like, listen, you're not gonna turn into that because you know, X, Y, and Z. There's certain ways to do things, you know? I actually decided to do a bonus one because it says, am I the a-hole for telling my teacher that I wasn't graded due to her negligence? You know, I'm smack dab in the middle of my junior year of high school, so this one might be a little bit relatable. So let's read it. Before I start, I'm new to Reddit. I made my account solely for asking similar questions. Hey, we're in the same boat. I mean, I'm not gonna be like asking similar questions, but you know, like I'm new to Reddit, so. I'm also new to this subreddit and I've read all the rules that I could. Me, male 14, and teacher, female 35, had a dispute a few days back. I'm still pretty guilty of holding a grudge for that. I had given the assignment to someone who had been told by the same teacher to collect the assignments and hand it over to her table. The next day I got the papers back and when I saw that it came back with no sign, no wording from the teacher. The next day I went to talk to her about it and she brushed me off and told me to stand and after I tried submitting it again, she told me to meet her at X timing and at Y place, which was nearly impossible since I had another subject at that time. Without even trying to consult me, she called my parents and claimed I was trying to submit a paper which wasn't even written yet. For that, I almost got grounded and any other privilege taken away. But the only real bummer was that I could only stay up until 9:30 p.m. opposed to the usual 10:30, even though I only reach home at 8 and only have free time from 8:15 to 10:30. The next day I met her again and when I tried to submit it, she said she wouldn't correct it since I had not submitted it on time. That pretty much drove me off my limits, so I told her that it wasn't my problem that my papers, which took much of my time to complete, wasn't graded and wasn't submitted due to her negligence since most of the other papers were graded and registered. I had to spend the rest of class standing. Again. I'm writing this in my room. My mother has been scolding me every time I bring up anything about school. I do violent studies, so this is pretty uncommon. P.S. I've never insulted her directly or used any profanity. Am I the a-hole for what I said? Just give me a second to reread this because I'm a little lost. All right, so. Okay, so rereading it a little bit. So this person, my boy, the 14, my dog, right? He said that he gave an assignment to one of the students that was like collecting the assignment. You know, some teachers usually have kids passing out assignments and like, or collecting them and turning them in. But the teacher's saying, oh, I didn't get it. Like, I didn't get it, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. So like, just, it's taking me a minute to process it because it was like, the wording was a little off. Sorry, my boy. Listen, it's no shade. I'm just trying to process. But I'm gonna say no. I feel like it's pretty obvious though. Like, after rereading and all that, I'm gonna say no, because the teacher shouldn't be trying to nuck if you buck and insult you and do all that. That's too much. Like, you know. Also, why is she having you just stand? She's just having you stand for the whole period, like, as a punishment? I feel like you might need to call somebody about that. But all jokes aside, I'm gonna say you aren't, because you handed the assignment in. From what you said, you handed the assignment in to the person who was collecting it, and the teacher just straight didn't grade it. You try to resubmit it, she not gonna take it. She making this a whole big scene, calling your mama, doing all that. That's too much. The teacher, if the teacher admitted her mistake, it would have been light work. It would have been easy. You would have been able to brush this off. But, So I'm gonna say for this one, it's a no. You aren't. Well, that was fun. I really did enjoy doing this. I think I'm gonna do this more often. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. If you want me to do more of these, or want to send in your own submissions, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Reddit, and DM me, message me, interact, Like, I want to be able to read and do more stuff like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.